What's going on, world? Welcome to the Smooth Podcast, simply motivating others onward through hope. Here, sitting across from me, my good friend, Wale Alesh. Wale, what's going on, man?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Second time, you know.
Yes. So some of you might know that Wale actually kicked off the Smooth Podcast a couple of years ago. A lot has changed for me. A lot has changed for this man right here. And we're going to dive into all aspects of his life and how things have progressed in a lot of different areas. First, I kind of want to start off with an interesting question.
Yep.
When it comes to every kind of pocket that your hand's in, do you ever sit back and feel like you're doing too much or you're exuding too much energy on different things?
No, it's funny because I think even when I was like a young student, my teachers used to always be like, oh, you need to focus on one thing. You need to do that. But I think people will say this because they can't focus on multiple things. Like I really can focus on multiple things and be good at multiple things. And it's like, it fulfills me. You know what I mean? Just doing one thing constantly all the time is not exciting. I think there's so many interesting things in this world. Like I'm a dibble and dabble. I suck at some stuff for sure too. But you know, I'm always gonna touch something.
Just to push back just a little bit. Do you think that one of your things could take off even more if you shut down like two other things and just use that time for that one thing?
So for me, I only take things that my capacity can hold, and it's also about delegation and building a team. That's how I'm able to do multiple things. It's not just this one solo man option. Obviously, I'm the head of these things, but I have extensive teams behind a lot of it. It's like if you own 5 companies, right? You're not running each 5 company by yourself.
Correct.
You're the one like steering it. You're creatively bringing it to fruition, but you have multiple people that are working for you, working with you. So it's not as cumbersome.
So if Joe Schmo approaches you in the street for whatever reason, Joe Schmo will be approaching you in the street, but and asks like, Wale, what do you do? How do you answer that?
It depends. Normally, you know, depending on the conversation, what they're looking for is the answer I'll give them. I'm not gonna list down everything I do, right? So if it's more of a professional question, a lot of the times I'll answer and say I'm an IT director. If it's more of an entrepreneurial kind of question, then I'll start, you know, talking about more of my entrepreneurship and things that I do of that nature. So it really depends who I'm talking to. I'm not gonna lie.
What feels the best?
Sometimes my career though. Because I think sometimes people just think I don't work or something. So it's fun to talk about like, yo, I went to school, I got a master's degree and all that type of stuff. So it's cool. But I think Yellow Cup brings me a lot of joy because I brought that from its infancy to what it is now. So, you know, no one can ever like kind of take that away. Like however it goes is like, damn, you really took that from your house and built it to what it is, multi-city tour. So that's a pride for me for sure.
For those out there that are unfamiliar and just kind of like copping in on the podcast, what is Yellow Cup?
Yellow Cup weekend is a house party vibe based festival that takes place in large formats, large scale venues at this point. It was something that started as a house party. You know, just think of any type of house party where you sitting back, drinking drinks, playing games, talking and fun. And now we're just like in multiple cities. We're about 5 cities doing tours. Maybe we have 2,000 to 4,000 people, a lot of locations. House party in large scale venues is what we'll call it.
And do you know the actual amount of how many Yellow Cup events you've done thus far?
I think at this point, give or take, if we're counting some of the ones that were not for profit, we're probably talking about 38, 40.
Wow. Wow. And now out of all the Yellow Cups, outside of Providence, what was your favorite one?
The favorite one I gotta give is Houston, man. Houston, although it wasn't like the largest one we've ever did. It was just it showed me that, you know, we can take this to another level.
Recently, the one I went to.
The second one after the one you went to.
Okay,
that's when you know I think we did like 1,000 there, and to like do 1,000 people in a city that is not your own, you know, that felt really good. Especially when I had no blueprint. No one told me how to do it.
Yeah,
I was just one of those people like, I'm okay failing and I'm going to figure this out. Like we're going to figure out marketing. We're going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I gotta be honest, like even for myself, I think being in the event curation space and the promoter space and whatever you want to call it, like that helped me build such a huge backbone of like, hey, I'm gonna try it. If I fail, I fail. Literally. Like I don't think anything else is as like nerve wracking, intense, and yet gratifying if everything kind of goes well. you know?
And I think, for the most part, people won't even really know the amount of work you're putting in. I think that's indicative of anything in life. You just see the end result.
Correct.
There's so much time, there's so much money, there's so much, self-doubt, there's so much learning and teaching that you have to do, especially when there's no one to just like give you the blueprint.
Right.
And so hopefully I could give the blueprint to other people. So, but yeah, I had to figure a lot of that stuff out myself. So.
Yeah. What would you say is different from the Houston atmosphere from the Providence atmosphere?
I think for me, Houston just has a large dichotomy of just black people. Like, there's something that I just enjoy around being around black people.
Sure.
It's just like a lot of them. And they're just like, they're young professionals, but they're sophisticated. And that's how I like to classify myself, young, educated, but I'll turn up. I'll jump on a couch too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think just going there, I kind of felt like at home. Like, you got a whole doctor over here, but she over here turning up at Yellow Cup. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to go do some surgery on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Just being around that energy was just like, it's just invigorating. It just gave me a lot of motivation to continue to do what I was doing.
So, being in the event space, as we both know, not every event turns out the way you want it to. What do you think was the biggest financial loss at either a Yellow Cup or any other event that you've done?
So I think, if this is what we're doing, 10 years now, I can't even quantify. Sometimes there's visual wins where it looks lit. And I'm happy with those because no one knows how much money I lost. Your brand is still on par. But there's some risk that you take sometimes. Maybe you took a venue that was a little too high for the amount of people, and maybe you thought you was going to have 3,000 people, and maybe 1,500 showed up, but the event looked lit, but you took a loss, right? And we're talking like big numbers when we're talking about some of these venues. So probably the most I've ever lost at an event, maybe like 25,000.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And like, how do you sleep that night? Are you just sleep fine? Or are you like, are you kind of thinking about it? Like you running it?
So in the beginning, after infancy, obviously 25K was like a lot of money at the time, right? So now it's like, you do it so much, it's just like a numbers game through like the year, right? So for the year, it's not a loss, but maybe that event, you maybe lost 10 bands, and then another event, you made 40, 50, like, you know what I mean? 60, 70, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I look at it of totality. I no longer look at per event anymore.
Each event, right? Yeah, that's smart.
I think when I first started, I was a per event person, right? But now it's kind of like, all right, sometimes I go into a city knowing I'm going to lose money. Not because the event's not going to be successful, but the amount of money I have to invest to make it be successful in that city, or flying out my team, or all that type of stuff, the overhead is pretty high for like a first year somewhere. So there's some cities I walk in, I already know I'm losing bread. It's a calculated risk. It's an investment, and throughout the year we'll like recoup that.
Yeah, that speaks volumes to where you see the brand going as well, because like you're saying, through marketing and advertising, I'm sure it's like an arm and a leg, but a lot of it is okay, it's going to go down this time. And when people miss it, but they see what happened and they heard about it, they know the next time it comes, they say, oh no, I'm not missing it next time. You know,
and then it's also not only about the visuals too. I'm a firm believer in like word of mouth, and like, so I want you, if this was your first time ever experiencing this event and you didn't know what it was, you have an amazing time. It's like, you don't know how much we spent. It doesn't matter. Like, you came here, you spent your hard-earned dollars. I want you to have the greatest time that I possibly can give you. You know what I mean? And so I think just doing that is what's allowing it to grow, because I really care about people enjoying themselves. It was never money first. Obviously now as a business, my overhead's crazy. Like, shit got to make sense. But in the infancy of it, it was really just, I want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. And genius idea to have like, the people that are part of like the crew, whether it be the hype team or the people doing logistics. At what point were you like, I actually need this? This isn't a if I should or shouldn't. I actually need to have this.
So 2 parts. So logistically, there's no business in this entire universe that can actually grow with just one person. I'll rewind this. I ended up going to school for project management. The company I work for wanted me to handle some projects. It was like a project in Japan or some shit like that. And they were like, oh, we would like you to take this project management class. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm always down for some free education. Like, I got a free master's from this company, everything. So I'm like, all right, I'll do this. So it was really for them. But the skills I learned taking this project, I was like, oh shit, I'm doing this all wrong. Like, you need to learn how to delegate. Like, you need to write your business down, everything that takes part in this business, and you need to figure out what are the things that I can hand off. What are things you're ready to hand off? And that's literally where it started. So I knew if I wanted to grow, I needed to build a team. So even when I didn't need a team, I started building my team so that when we were ready to expand, because that kind of stuff happens overnight, we were ready. So it was just like determining who would be my event manager, who would be my hype team manager, who would be my logistics manager, like really running it like a corporation. And I think that's what allowed us to take it to the top. Shout out my entire team. Like, y'all know who you are.
Well, what was interesting with that too is like, you know, you kind of, I don't think it couldn't have been an automatic science. Like you kind of had to be like, well, I hope this person fits this part. Yeah. Right.
I think for me, I was super lucky in one, that a lot of the friends that were around me were super intelligent and just down and like already loved the brand, been around it. Yeah. So I think the skill set that I had to do was learn how to be a leader and also learn how to put people in the best roles for them. And then also not micromanage, also give people guidelines and, you know what I'm saying? And we learning this together. But now my team literally can handle an entire event. And if I didn't show up, y'all wouldn't know the difference. You know what I'm saying?
When will that time come where you don't have to show up?
I think the time is now. If I didn't want to show up, I wouldn't have to show up. Currently, I still MC, but that's something that we could easily find some nice talent to do so. So that was always the plan, to have a business that can exist without me having to be there. Obviously, I'll always be in the background. I do a lot of the creative direction, and that's the shit that I love. I love doing the creative part of it. So there probably will be a point soon, I don't know, that I'm just not there anymore. But my team got the whole thing down, and I think that's a testament to them.
Yeah, yeah. You know, finalizing this whole Yellow Cup talk, what are the next plans for Yellow Cup? Where do you see it in 3-5 years?
So real quick, this summer, we're doing our summer 2025 tour. We just hit off with Houston. We're going next will be Providence, July 19th. After that, we have Boston. We got a new spot, Salt Lake City, Utah, that I'm excited about.
Wow. Is that exclusive? Is that out there?
It's out there. It's out there. I think that's going to be a good time. I think, you know, just like Providence, there's a beauty in hitting small markets, right? It's exciting. For
Utah's crazy. What made you come up with that? That's crazy.
So at this point, you know, a lot of venues and a lot of places reach out to us now. Like the brand has really just developed. I think we finally just hit like 25K on Instagram or something. So like, you know, people see the branding, and they'll like contact us and be like, oh, we would love to have you host in our city. A lot of places will like give us the venue.
Yeah, your leverage gotta be crazy when it comes to stuff like that.
It's a lot bigger than when we first started, right? So like people are actually looking for us, which is dope. And you know, word of mouth goes crazy too. And then we're gonna close the summer out in Brooklyn, New York. This is one that I'm so excited about. It's during New York Fashion Week. I think this is gonna be amazing. So we added 3 new cities this year. We used to do maybe 2 events a year, 3 events a year. This year we're going to be doing 11. So like the growth has been tremendous, and my team is like dope.
When it comes to Yellow Cup stuff, how many hours a day / week do you feel like you set aside to work on it?
I can't even quantify it. It's all about necessity. This year has been probably the most hours. Well, last year, because we've grown like rapidly. We went from 3 events to 11. So, you know, we're basically an event a month now, where before we had space in between. I think, I don't know, maybe my team, again, delegation, the amount of hours I would have had to spend if this was all me is unsurmountable. Like I wouldn't be able to do it. So I think, you know, some of my team members, maybe they're spending 10 hours a week. You know, maybe I'm spending 11 hours a week. But in totality, my team's probably clocking 60 hours a week working on these events. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them.
I want to shout them all out too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Now, a role that, you know, anyone that's known you is like, oh, duh, Wale's gonna be on TV. Like, why wouldn't he be? Like it was one of those like, it's only a matter of time things. I can speak for me personally, but I'm sure I can speak for a lot of people in Providence. Like, oh, Wale's on TV, duh.
I'm not gonna lie, I never saw that coming.
Really?
Even though maybe people have seen it. You know, I would like to think that I have a nice personality. I wouldn't think it was a TV personality. So
I disagree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly.
The way that happened, I didn't even apply to be on the show. Like I got DM'd. I think sometimes like things fall in your lap, and you know the work you've done over your life prepares you for certain things. So I was prepared for the opportunity, but never really wanted the opportunity or seek for it. So it was cool.
And so Bravo hits you up and says what?
So it's not actually Bravo. So I'm learning a lot. So they, Bravo will have casting agents that they hire. Maybe they hire a company. This company was Shed Media. It was the company. So somebody hit me up. First, I ignored it like everybody else would ignore it on Instagram. I'm like, what is this nonsense? So I ignore it. I'm not thinking anything. The person hits me up again like, listen, I think you would really blah, blah, blah. This is my name. You know me, I work in tech. I go research this person and I go look at their TikTok. I go look at their LinkedIn. I'm like, oh no, this is
a real person. Yeah.
They do a lot of the Love Islands. They do all of this. They're the ones who cast. And so I'm like, all right. So I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'm not thinking I'm just gonna get on it like that. So she says, all right, cool. I'm gonna have somebody call you tomorrow. I do like a Zoom meeting, and because I don't care, I'm super relaxed in these meetings. I'm cracking jokes. I'm just like, I don't know what this is, but whatever. And so, over and over, I'm getting more interviews. I'm like, why is so many interviews? And then I finally realized I'm gonna be on the show when they asked me to get an STD test and psychological evaluation. And I'm like, damn, I'm actually about to be on this show. And what they're telling me is not what ended up being the show.
So what did they tell you?
So they basically tell me it's a show to meet, women of a certain status that are linking up with other men of a certain status. But they don't tell you, obviously you guys know now, is Real Housewives or who they are. They're just telling you you're going on a dating show for this, and it's not a drama show, and it's for, distinguished gentlemen, that type of energy. So you don't know who you're seeing, and you just get there. And then one day they open the door and you see it. You know what I'm saying? You see who it is.
So when everyone came in looking like they owned a tax firm and looked like they could be like your granddad, were you like, yo, what the hell is going on?
I was like, yo, what am I doing here? I couldn't understand it. I was one of maybe 2 or 3 black men, first of all. And then I was like the youngest on the show. Me being the youngest anyway is crazy at this point in my life, I swear. And so I was just like, what is this? I couldn't understand. So then when I saw Shorty come out, Ashley, then I was like, oh, they casted me for her. Like there was no other reason I would be here other than to talk to her.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, right? And from jump, it seemed like your eyes were for her, only for her. Was that like strategic, or was that just like you were really just not feeling anybody else?
There was nobody else to feel for me. Everyone was, mind you, they're amazing women, beautiful, but 55, 60, 65. Like my mom's 59. Like it's not. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a question. Like there was gonna be no romantic involvement. And I think all of them also took me on like son, like nephew. Like that's why we was all cool. Yeah. So there was nobody there that I was gonna romantically talk to. It was like only her. Yeah. Whether that hit off or not, I wouldn't have known. But it was just like, all right, this is what I'm gonna at least try. Yeah. Or y'all can send me packing because nothing else is gonna shake over here. You know
right. Was there any kind of like rivalry or maybe animosity between the older gentleman and yourself? Because I would hate, one of the worst things if I'm an older guy on a show is this younger guy, good looking, 6-pack, and we're on a dating show to get some girl's heart. Like, so I feel like I got set up.
You gotta think, most of the women wanted the older man. I was actually the one in the minority. Like I was the least desired person, most
for that age group.
Age group. Maybe not in real life, but in that age group, ain't nobody checking for me over there. But the guys were super cool. Like we developed such an amazing bond. Those guys, like a lot of them are like wealthy, smart. It was just like I was just learning every day, like just chatting the shit with those guys. And so there was no competition between the gentlemen. It's obviously because the women are picking anyways. It doesn't even matter what you do. Like it's just in real life. If she like you, she like you. If she don't, she don't. It's not much you can really do.
Yeah. When you found out that the individual that you were chasing, her ex-husband, how he looked, were you like, oh, the jig's really up for me? Like what? When do I land back in Providence? Because obviously I'm out of here. Like
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like there was a point, on that show, it was when I got the 5th key. You know what I'm saying? This is when I get the 5th key. I'm thinking I'm going home already. I low-key don't even want the 5th key. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, what? You picked this, man? It's time for me to go home. But that was the point where I was like, this is not even making sense. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never in my life like dated a woman that could date a 60-year-old white man. Like, it was just so new to me. And that's not even being shady. It's just like, I've never experienced this. So I honestly, till this day, it still's not like hitting my mind. Like I was in competition with like a older man. Like it's not a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? Not for me, at least. Maybe other people, but I've never experienced it. Like I would have been more in tune, like if it was somebody my age. Like, even if it was a Caucasian man my age.
Right.
It's like, oh, this makes sense.
Right.
But you're comparing apples and oranges. There's something very relaxing about it because it's like. It's whatever the girl likes. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you made it far.
Very far.
So what was that like?
So I gotta be fair, like Ashley and I really did get along. Like we, there's a lot of stuff that's not aired, but like we spent a lot of time together. So we developed like a real good friendship, a real good chemistry. So I'm not too surprised I was just there the whole time, but it was like, damn, man, y'all need to send your boy home already, dog.
Yeah. And I mean that chemistry was somewhat abundant when all of a sudden you dropped the L bomb.
Listen, that's not really how that went down, but y'all could keep that.
Like I could tell that it was more like, oh yeah, love you, like you know what I'm saying, like oh I love you, like but it just in that moment, it was like,
and I already knew I was like, I swear to God, I looked at the cameras. I was like, guys, don't put that in there. And I was just like, yeah, it is whatever. We're gonna own it. We're gonna own it. I love the planet, bro. I love everybody. That was crazy. Hey, good TV. I'm not gonna lie. But shout out to Ashley. She was cool for the most part. We didn't hit it off, so that's life.
Yeah. And I guess her homegirls are rooting for you. But it just feels like she was looking for someone similar to her ex, and she kept on bringing up her kids in mind. So I'm assuming like you're older than her kids, obviously, but probably not as much older as she would want her significant other to be, right?
No, her kids are young. It wasn't really about that. I think at the end of the day, people like what they like. I don't even ask for questions or answers. It's like, you're not rocking with me, you're not rocking with me. I don't really care why. But people like what they like. Just like somebody could come to me, be the best woman ever, and I just like a particular type. Like, it has nothing to do with them. It's just...
Now, do you think any of the reason, and I know you guys hit it off, so I'm kind of answering my own question here, but do you think any of the reason why she kept you on was to see if she could mingle with a black man? Because even some of her comments were kind of off-putting and tone-deaf, right? And I know you know where I'm getting at.
Listen, this is not for me to, dissect why she did what she did. I was gonna leave it at that. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We had a decent relationship. I think, that's it. Shout out to Ashley, man. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. What else about the show? Maybe like, is there anything that you can kind of like take from behind the curtain and provide the audience of like maybe something that we didn't see or didn't know?
I think for me, even personally, like watching myself on television, I think I didn't realize how stoic I was in nature. Like a lot of times, because I'm so like up and joking all the time, there's a lot of times when I'm just chilling and it might look like I'm being cold, and I'm just like, I'm not that. I'm just like, I'm somebody that thinks a lot. I also think there was a lot of conversations I may have had, maybe one or two with her, where I think if I would have led more with empathy, would have been better. I think I'm somebody that's so matter of fact, like I'm talking facts straight, like, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes with women, they just want some, some empathy there. So that was something I took out of it. I also think people don't realize like how many hours you're spending with a person like on a show. Like, you guys are getting clips. Like, I was there for a month. So imagine all the stuff that's happening that you're not seeing. I used to be like, yo, how do people like each other so fast on these shows? Bro, like,
they're there for a while.
A month on a television show is like 3 to 4 months in real life. I swear to God. I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you can only talk to this one person. It's like a social experiment, bro. Like, you just, and then make you talk about like difficult topics sometimes. It's like, oh, how did you feel about this when you grew up, and talk? And then even for me, it's like, that was probably the only person my age too. So it's like, there's a lot of things that are making you like bond. You know what I mean? So, it's a unique experience. Something I'll never like,
Did you like her, or was she just the best one out of the bunch?
I liked her for like...
So what happened after...
I'm somebody that... the way someone treats me is gonna dramatically affect how I feel about them. That's all it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I feel like you playing me or you're not being truthful, or
like if someone treated you like a criminal.
Yeah, or you twisted my words, or whatever the case may be, I'm probably off you.
So one thing that I don't like at all is Bravo not tagging you.
They don't tag any of them, man.
I don't care. I don't like the fact they don't tag you.
It's true. They don't.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't got no questions about it, but they don't. I think realistically, because the show was about the women, it's not supposed to be about the men. Somehow, you know, I got a lot of camera time, but the show was really supposed to be about the housewives. We were supposed to be like ancillary figures, like
sure.
Like even if you think about it, only because you know me, there's no time on the show where you actually get to know anything about me. It literally just looks like I'm obsessed with Ashley for the whole time. Like there's no backstory. There's none of that. So I think the show is really about them. And you got to think about there's so many characters on the show. Like
that's cool. I just think that, and you know, I hope you could be a little vulnerable here. I think they're kind of like halting your superstarness by not doing that, right?
Yeah,
like I think there's part of it where there might be commercials, there might be other TV shows, like who is this guy? And because they're not tagging you, and if you don't know you, how do you like?
To be fair though,
you gotta change your name to Bravo TV Wallet.
To be fair though, if someone wants to find you, they could find you. Like think about how I even got on the show, bro. Like this was me not even on a television show.
But that's you coming across. So that's not them like finding you per se.
No, but they had hundreds and hundreds of applicants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think in life in general, what's for you is for you. I think just keep continuing to work on yourself, get better at your craft, get better as a person. So when opportunities come, that you're ready for them. So even with me not being tagged in, you know, on their pages, like people saw me. Like if someone wants to present an opportunity, it'll be there. And if it's not, it's not. You know what I mean? I don't even think about that type of stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to make your own opportunities, right?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can pitch brands. You can, like, you own a show now. Like you can pitch brands. You can say I was here, you was here, I was there. You know what I mean? So
after being on one, would you want to be on a different show?
So realistically, I was very comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised about that part. I don't necessarily know if I would want to do a dating show, but I'm open to like other type of reality shows. Dating shows are a different type of animal. Or maybe if I was on a dating show where it was more than one person, that would probably be more interesting too. But I won't say no. But I'm also fine if I never end up on a show again. Yeah, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And now when it comes to where you see yourself, because I want to get back to you having your hand in so many different pockets.
Yep.
Do you think there is going to be a time where you're going to have to cut certain lanes off?
No, I think like with anything, you just transition. You know, you've known me for a while. There's been so many facets of my life. Some of them I let go. Some of them they build you up for the next like journey in your life. And I think that's just what it's going to be. And then even, you know, some of the brands I've built now, like I'm building them in a way that they can also be sold, right? You know what I mean? So there's always like an exit strategy. You know what I mean? Like even Yellow Cup Weekend is built as a brand that can be sold. You know what I mean? If that's something I ever wanted to do. So I just think, you know, I'm just taking things like with life. I have my certain plans, like, you know, I'm gonna start tackling real estate soon. But there's certain avenues in my life that I just feel I gotta tackle right now. Like I think I'm good at that type of discernment. Like this is what is working right now. Tackle that, and then you know you can tackle the other stuff as well. So
I know you must get asked this question 1,000 times a day. Do you plan on staying in Rhode Island?
So for me, because of, you know, the multiple streams of income, the things I'm doing, it doesn't really matter where I live. You know, this economy crazy. So I have a crib that I own. I'm not rushing to go buy no expensive ass house right now. My house is nice and I live there by myself. So it just makes sense. I'm one of those people that will always live below his means. If I could get anybody any tip of life, live below your means. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can move to another city, go buy a bigger house, and then it's like,
easier for you to say, though. Okay. And the reason why I'm going to say it's easier for you to say is because you will wake up one day and say, hey, I want to build a shed in my backyard.
Right.
So, like, if you're able just to make, like, saxophones pop up on your wall, like, yes, you can live below your means because you're creative and you can do it yourself. If I'm not creative.
But it's not even that. Let's say you're someone that makes $10, $20 million, right? why would you be spending $17 million a year? What I'm saying is if you make $10-20 million a year, maybe you should be spending $5 a year, man.
Right, right.
That's all I'm saying. It's not necessarily about the quantifiable figure. It's, live below it. You know what I'm saying? Some people even live above their means. You got somebody making 10 mil and they're spending 30 million a year, bro. Like, what do you do? It's like, it's not.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Like, just try to stay a little under, what you're bringing in. And I've always been somebody that's like that.
Yeah. Have you hit a point in life where you made X amount of money and it actually did change your life?
A lot of them, there's milestones in your life that a lot of people will tell you, like, first time you make 10 bands, it changes your brain, right? The first time you make 100 bands, it changes your brain. So first time you make 500,000, it changes your brain. For next time you make,
I wouldn't know.
Whatever. So there's just milestones, right? And I think more so, they don't necessarily change my life. They change the opportunities I have, and they change how I look at things. They like, it makes money become more like Monopoly a little bit. That's it. Like,
nah, that's a bar. I want money to become.
You just like, hey, 20 bands here. Like, it just seems different. Where when I was younger, growing up in projects, Chad Brown, like, I would look at, $5,000 is a ton of money. Like, or certain, now it's like there's certain dollars that just look different. That's all it is.
Yeah. Did you notice that you had to become a different person the more money that you were getting? Like, did you have to become different on the inside to achieve more on the outside?
I haven't had to change with any financial success, but I had to use discernment in friendships and people that's in my life. That's it. But I didn't have to change who I am.
Okay. And what does that, like, dig a little deeper with that? Does that mean cutting people off? Does that mean limiting access from others? Or what does that mean?
There's some people on your journey, no matter if they know your struggle or not, or how you got there, that, they begin to feel away. And that's just life, right? For everybody that this happens to, some people you just got to leave behind and just, keep your journey. Like, there's going to be some people that are not happy with your growth and your shine and all of that, and those are the people you just gotta let go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? And I'm not saying this is your situation, but it's interesting because a lot of times we will use that when potentially there was something else happening. And so, like, if I'm elevating, and then my boy kind of comes at me sideways, I'll be like, "Oh, you're just jealous." But like, maybe that's not the case. Yeah. And so you're 100% certain that that has been the case for you. So
it's not only like, you can, all right, this is how you really know people that, like, rock with you, support you, or anything. Because I'm the same way, even behind closed doors. Anytime I see somebody winning or anything like that, I'm actually internally happy. Like, I truly believe that one man's success doesn't stop another person's.
Correct.
This is not fucking basketball. It's not a sport. Like,
correct.
Life,
correct.
There's thousands and millions of winners, right?
Correct.
And so if I'm ever around people that, even if not just for me, but I see how they treat people when something, good happens for them. And like, oh my God, this person thinks that they're shit. Or this, I know, like, in your heart, you're just not someone that could cheerlead for other people, right? And so when you have those kind of people, like, that may be around you, it's gonna cause you to dim your light. And nobody should dim their light for anybody. So that's all I mean by that.
You brought up such a good point. What people really don't understand is just because you're talking about somebody else, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, the minute I leave, you could be talking the same way to me. Right. So yes, you're not talking to me in this instant, but I am going to look at you differently for talking down on this other person.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand that. Yeah, 100% right.
Me, I'm just one of those people that I just generally want people to do well in life and care about them. So I think the energy you surround yourself is really important. And I'm been blessed to have, like, amazing energy around me, So, I can discern what's good energy and what's bad energy. Mm-hmm. Wherever it's coming from is where it's coming from, but I can tell that. There's people that generally care about you and vice versa. I'm like a lover. That's why I said I loved you on that show. Like, I love people, man. Like, so I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell.
So have, like, since the show's aired, have, like, the 55 plus cougars been, like, on your body, or how does that go?
I'm not gonna lie, this is just for fun. My DMs are disgusting, bro. Like, they're out of control. I'm overwhelmed. I sign out often now. Like, it's just, it's hilarious. I'm sure my 15 minutes of fame will be over, but everybody feel bad for me on that show because I got dumped. That's what happened. I got dumped on the show, and so everyone was in my DM trying to holler, trying to take me on dates. It's funny, man. and I'm getting sent nudes. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense, bro. It's interesting. It's funny. In a week it'll be all over. So I'm laughing.
Is it an older group of women though? Or is
it's a wide spectrum. I would say my DMs right now probably, I don't know their ages for real, but if I had to guess just off glance, it's looking like 28 to 50, 20. So it's like a wide, I think that's Bravo's core audience right there.
Yeah.
So it's like a wide range. So it's funny. Yeah. I've never had as many Caucasian followers as I have now. So
that's fine.
That's another one too.
I mean, they're the ones that make the numbers go up. Shit. So now when it comes to like the older women and stuff like that, what is the craziest DM you received so far? That's like memorable. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this lady just said this.
I'm gonna be fair to, like, a lot of people are speaking so like nicely to me. Besides the crazy stuff, that's usually what you remember. Like, there's like a lot of love in my DM. I think, people are really happy with the Black representation I was able to provide on a predominantly white network. And I wasn't really thinking about that when I was there. I think, there's a level of emotional intelligence that I showed there, and there's a level of humor and education. And I think there's just sometimes we don't get to see that on television. And if I was able to be that catalyst, it's cool. Like, sometimes you think outside yourself, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize like that's what it was doing. And so like those type of messages where it's like, you made me believe like there's beautiful Black men out there that I love, and like stuff like that. I wasn't expecting to see that from a TV show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So those are the sweet things there. And I think, just to have people say like, we really love how you handled yourself on the show, especially in an environment that was kind of hectic, was really cool for me. So I think that's, out of all of it, is like the love that I'm receiving is really beautiful. Yeah. Especially from Black women in general. Yeah. Just saying really nice, encouraging things to me. That I wouldn't have expected. So
yeah, anybody famous hit you up and be like, "Dang, I didn't even know they knew who I was."
No famous people. Not that I've noticed. A couple blue checks, but I don't know who they are. So I don't know. But it's cool. It's cool. I enjoyed the ride. I don't think I was ever someone that wanted to be famous. So I don't.
Really?
No, it's not. I think I'm somebody that likes financial success, right? And if fame is like an avenue that gets that, I'm cool with that. But to be famous with no bread, I don't care. I'll stay in my house. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've never chased fame. So that's the interesting thing about this, and that's why it's interesting that I ended up on a reality show, because I was never looking for it. I never applied for it. So I think some things fall in your lap, and you just got to capitalize. I had no idea that I'll be highly featured on the show, my face every episode. Like, you don't know those things. So you're just doing it because it's like, all right, this is an opportunity. Why not?
Mm-hmm. And now for payment, is it like a one-time thing, or is it every time they air, you get something?
That's one thing I actually can't talk about. NDAs about, finances from show, but, I don't know.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah. If you were, like you said, to kind of like join another show, I know it wouldn't be a dating show, what kind of show would you want to be on?
I think I would do like game shows. I think they have a show on Bravo that I just heard of called Traders. I would like to do some athletic type shows, some things like that. I'm not 100% saying no to a dating show, but it would have to be a different format. Like I
can see you on as like a host on a game show though. I can see that.
I wouldn't mind hosting. Yeah, I think that would be super fun.
I see that.
But dating shows just seem like they're an emotional toll. Like, and I'm like, why would I keep subjecting myself to that? Like, it's a lot.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely hear you on that. What's something that shocked you while being on the show? So what's something that you were able to take away that you maybe didn't know about, like famous people, or didn't know about reality shows, that you're like, oh wow, this is how this happens?
One thing that shocked me was how like loving the women were, at least towards me. Like, they were so kind to me. Like they were so even on that show, you could see when I was supposed to get eliminated, they're like, no, you got to keep Wale. Like, it was just like being able to make a connection. These women are like esteemed, and like just to make that connection, they were so down to earth, like hella chill. Like, I forgot. Well, I didn't even know, so that probably changed it too. But I didn't even know they were, famous like that with 1 million followers. And, you know what I'm saying? So just being around them and just seeing how cool they were was very like, it's not what I would have thought. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe they would be on camera, and then when cameras are off, they're like, ugh.
Do you feel like you're too accessible?
I don't think so. I think I'm the right enough accessible. You know what I mean? I make myself accessible. If I want to disappear, I could disappear. I think, Providence is a place that shows hella love. So, I'll give that love in return. Like, I'm a normal person. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, one would argue though that like maybe the higher up you go, the more of like, whether it be just like protecting your space, like, like, I don't know. Like it's a weird balance of like, you want to show love to everyone and you want to do all this, but it's another thing of like, you are becoming an actual asset now.
Yeah.
And so you have to treat yourself as that. And so if you're just like willy nilly, it's like, are you treating yourself as that?
And so that thought is really something that is an internal thought, right? I love showing love and I love being around the people I want to be around. Like I've never felt any type of celebrity in me. You know what I'm saying? If someone feels that way, that's cool. But I'm really just a regular person that grew up from Providence, and that's it. So, as things change for me, maybe we'll be around different people. But like my core group of friends are always going to remain. The type of energy I give people is going to remain until it's received differently, right? Mm-hmm. If I start walking around and, people throwing bottles at my head, shit, I got to stay in the house.
Yeah.
But up until that point, why?
Yeah.
Why switch up?
Right.
The way I've been is why I'm where I'm at now, because I'm just someone that generally shows love. I'm generally somebody that supports. I'm generally somebody that's going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm accessible. You can come talk to me. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing, I don't see the point in just acting a certain way that you're not. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm.
When individuals meet you now, would it be a turnoff if a woman introduced herself and just knew you as Wale from that Bravo show?
No, I mean, it's a part of me now, right? You can't have, a million viewers seeing you every week for 8 weeks and try to act like it didn't exist. Like, it's not realistic. There's people that have walked up to me and noticed me. It's cool. Like everybody shows love. It hasn't been nothing disrespectful. There's this excitement, and I'm like, oh shit, you noticed me. That's funny. But yeah, I don't, you know what I'm saying? It was just a TV show. I don't think it was anything. Like really. Mm-hmm. It was like another chapter in my life. So now it's like, what's next? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now I know one of the sentiments that Ashley had that was almost like a strike. It's so funny because she kind of used it as a strike against you when in our heads we would view it as a good thing, but you not having any kids, that was like a huge strike,
a huge point of contention.
Now it's such an interesting topic because it's like I never saw the day where that would be a bad thing per se. Do you think that like when you're off on dates and outside of the show and stuff, do you think it's a strike against you nowadays, or do you think that?
No, I think when you're dating, intentionally dating, you're gonna date people that's more aligned with you. You know what I'm saying? In the real world, me and Ashley would have never met ever. Like we never would have crossed paths. This was a show that put us together. You know what I'm saying? Without really asking me or her what we actually want. They probably got the physical attraction part right, but other than that, we would have never even communicated in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. Where in real life, if a woman says she wants somebody with a child and she found out that I didn't have a child, she wouldn't even entertain me. You know what I mean? It wouldn't continue. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just different on a reality show because you guys are just put together from different worlds.
Yeah.
Me and Ashley would never, like, we probably walk by each other on the street and not even look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be in that situation is just interesting because it wouldn't happen in a real setting.
Yeah.
Which also makes it kind of unique.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think you should have called Bravo at my destination wedding. I feel like they could have got some more better footage there.
Man, interesting, man. I'm always in these little strange predicaments, man. This time, this one just got recorded, so that's funny. I forgot about that. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
All right. As we're wrapping up here, what's something that you want people to take away from you, whether it be people that know you, people that don't know you? What's like a message that you just kind of want to ring through and through to people when they bring up Wale?
I think I just want people to realize, and then this is like a lesson. You know, people will never know where you started from. They always see the end. And I think it's important, you know, to just stay grounded in that journey and just enjoy it and be willing to fail, be willing to try things. I know I was somebody that, even, let's talk about this reality show, someone that said I would never do one, right? But I think in life, you got to just open your mind to different avenues. Even for Yellow Cup, there were certain cities I said I wouldn't go to, or certain venues I said I wouldn't go to. As soon as I started taking these limitations that I magically placed on my brain that nobody said were true,
dude,
so many doors opened up. Dude. So the way that you've thought in your life, you can actually like break that down. You don't have to stick to these ideologies that you created for no reason. Like, oh, I would never go to this place. I would never. Why? What was the reason? You know what I'm saying? So, bro, the moment I just stopped doing that, it's like everything lit's happening.
If there was a language that I spoke other than English, it would be that.
Like, it's like, who told you not to do that?
It would be how much humans, and just you know, this isn't just black people, it's humans, how much we limit ourselves because, one, we're either scared, two, we care about what other people think, three, we feel like we're not capable of more. And it's like, we don't really know until we push ourselves. We don't really know until we put our ass in the fire of make it or break it, right?
And beyond, even furthermore, that like, it's intrinsically, internally, it's people are afraid to fail. But, you know, failure is one of the most beautiful things that can happen to you because you learn so much from it. There's probably somebody right now writing a business plan, trying to perfect it, and there's somebody that started the business right now and got the education they needed within 6 months of it and is making the money while you're still making your business plan. Yo, you're gonna suck at certain shit. You're just gonna get better, man. Like, that's just what it is.
It's so funny because, like, when I first started creating content, the very, very first video I ever did was "Congratulations, you suck," and it was a weird twist of like, you know, a lot of people think that being bad at something it means that you should just stop doing it. Yeah. What they need to rearrange their brain with is like, no, it's actually a prerequisite of being good at something. Absolutely. And one of the best analogies is tying your shoe. Yeah. Who was born, I got this? Nobody. Yep. And if we would have given up the 5th time, the 7th time, we still, to this day, would not know how to tie our shoes. Yeah. How ridiculous is that?
Very ridiculous. And so I think I just want everybody to be okay with failing, bro. Like, everyone's going to see your wins. They're not going to see your failures. Right. They're going to forget about them.
Right.
But those failures are what allow you to be a successful person, a successful human. Even in relationships. Like failed relationships, people stop dating after that. Yeah. But there's so many things you learn from that failed relationship that will make you a better man, a better wife. Like, just, you know, it's part of growth, man. I be fucking up all the time.
Cool. Yeah. I think as long as you can learn and right your wrongs per se and do better and become a better person, it wasn't really a failure. You know what I mean?
And just have self-awareness, man. And I know, you know, this is really on your, go to therapy, everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You didn't tell me to say that either. Just like, do it. You know what I mean? There's going to be things you learn about yourself. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've become so at peace with who I am over the years that, you know, outside noise doesn't really affect me. I think that's why I'm easily able to just try shit, do things. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't care if you think I'm corny. I don't care if you think I'm like, I know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
But I will say, and as messed up as this may sound, I think that comes at a certain tax bracket. And I'm going to be 100% honest here.
Therapy?
No. Oh. The feeling of, I'm a 1, block out all the noise. 2, I'm gonna try this and I don't care. Because it's almost like in some aspect you provided value, however you provide value to acquire X amount of dollars. So you know that, and deep down you know you're valuable. So it's easier for you to be like, I don't care. I know I'm valuable.
I would counter that argument where when we were all in college, everybody was in school, we were all broke, right? True. I still have that same mentality. True. It's the same mentality that made me go try out for URI basketball team where everybody told me I sucked. And then I played for 2 years. You know what I mean?
People did not say you sucked.
Bro, dead ass. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for real. And maybe I did suck. But I worked on my game and got better and then ended up playing for school. All I'm saying is I don't even care about ball like that no more. But I'm just saying.
You're like, they did.
It's a story, like, and this has nothing to do with money. It has to do with a belief in yourself. That no matter what nobody's telling you, like, you're going to do what you're going to go do. And that's just, I've always been like that. Like, fuck it. I don't care what you think.
Right. Last but not least, man. your 5-year plan. I know we went over,
Yep.
where you see Yellow Cup and stuff like that. Your 5-year plan, lay it out for me. What is best case scenario 5 years down the line for Wale look like?
Obviously, continue the growth of Yellow Cup. Obviously, we're at where we at now. Hopefully, be a multi-million-dollar business in the next 2 years.
Do the garden.
Right. And then, in 2 years from now, I'll be starting my real estate business, flipping houses. That's like a natural thing for me. I just think, if I'm being fair, Yellow Cup requires a little bit of youth that I have left. And where flipping houses doesn't necessarily require me young, right? I can be 55 doing real estate. So that's why I kind of, what I'm saying? So that was my plan. Like, whatever youth or whatever youthfulness I have, let me give it to Yellow Cup.
Yeah.
Because every other business avenue, it doesn't necessarily require you to be a younger person, where I think this kind of does.
Right, right.
So that's why I was like, let me get this where it needs to go. But, real estate ultimately is where I think I'm going to make like the bulk of my bread. Like,
really?
I just think that like house flipping, I just like in my mind, like because I do corporate design.
Of course.
I do corporate design. I get contracts here and there. I probably take like 2 or 3 contracts a year, and like I'm getting 6 figures off 3 contracts. So it's like I know how to do these things. So it's just like a matter of time where I can fully dive into that, and I'll probably be flipping like 4 or 5 houses a year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I see it. And so that's like my next plan.
Yeah. So I recently got into flipping, which is why it was crazy that you're saying all of this. And someone like you that, I got to depend on everybody.
The contract.
I'm not a handsy person. I'm just not. Or let me reframe. I have not put in enough time to be good at being a handsy person. So I got to rely on other people. I got to rely on their price and stuff like that. But someone like you that can kind of do everything on their own, it could 100% be extremely lucrative.
But to be fair, the skill wouldn't be to do it myself. The skill would be to better assess the individuals who are doing it. Because I'll be able to know if you're doing a poor job. I'll be able to know if that quote makes sense because I know how to do it. That's what I'm not going to be sitting there if I can flip 6 houses with my own back. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it just gives you a better understanding. You know what I mean? I think in any part of your business, if you understand from the ground level up, you're going to look at it completely different.
Yeah.
From sourcing materials, I'm going to understand a little different. You know what I mean?
So, and I know I keep on saying last question, but this stuff just keeps on popping up. You can't say, you can't give me a generic answer. You got to give me a pinpoint answer with this. Who is your ideal woman?
My ideal woman? That's a good question. I don't know my ideal woman, but we'll do some characteristics, because I think when you say ideal person, that means you must have seen them before. Like, I don't know. I think there's so many pieces of people individually that you connect with that you didn't know.
So
that you would connect with. So, I think it's someone that's like super caring, loving. I like people that are nice. Not because you need to be, just because you want to be. It's like you're kind to people. I like people that can take jokes. You know what I'm saying? That's a fun person, caring. I like someone that, is a boss, that can get her own money. I don't need it, but it's like, yo, you got your own. Someone that's educated, someone that's really communicative. That's so important to me. I think so many issues happen in life, in relationships, because people don't communicate. Right? Or, I think that's probably the biggest one for me. I'm someone that's such a concise, direct communicator. Yeah. Like, if we can just talk, I think a lot of things like would be cool. So that's really important for me. And you gotta have a pretty ass face. That's like, I like faces.
Can she have kids?
I don't know. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no to kids. I think it depends on the person, for sure.
Do you think you're gonna hit a certain age where you're not gonna have a say in that matter?
Shit. As we saw in that show, it don't matter what age you are. That man was 61. So I don't know. I don't think it matters. But yeah, I mean, I ideally would probably want to like just start my own family, but I'm not super close to. It depends who the person is, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really. Before it used to be hell no. But there's a bunch of amazing women that have a child, so I don't know if I should close myself off to them. But ideally, I would want to start my own family. That's the honest answer.
Yeah.
But I've learned not to say no to stuff no more, because like you limit yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might meet the love of your life, and you're like, nah, I said no kids, so now I can't talk to you.
Right.
And then you go talk to Stacy, and she's terrible. So.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Wale, thank you for the time, man. This was a great interview. I really appreciate you for coming through. All right, man. Y'all stay smooth out there.